Should the Fairfax County School Board vote tonight in favor of including transgendered rights as a part of their non-discrimination policy? Or should they vote no on that? We want to hear from you, 888-630-9625. If teachers and students are given transgendered non-discrimination protection at Fairfax County Schools, what are your concerns? What red flags do you see going in? We want to hear from you because the vote is tonight. 888-630 WMAL. Joining us right now, Elizabeth Schultz, Fairfax County School Board member out of Springfield. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Schultz.
Good morning, Larry and David.
It's Larry and Brian, but that's okay.
So weird, though, because I have a brother, David. It's like we're,
that
wow.
is weird.
Maybe she was thinking about Larry David.
Ms. Schultz, we spoke with you several weeks ago, and you had said at the time that you really don't think that this has been investigated enough and explored and all of the downsides. Between then and now, has the school board, has there been due diligence? Have they looked at all of the potential pitfalls here with regard to adding transgendered status?
No, not only that, it's actually gotten worse. We've asked for some explanation of when the regulations behind this policy and when they're going to be available for the board to review, and that's not even going to happen until about the 30th of September. So we're going to vote on a policy tonight that isn't going to have any regulations written or anything for us to review on what that means for Fairfax County students, parents, teachers, employees, until the end of September. And worse yet, now we're being told that part of the problem is that the federal government, through the Office of Civil Rights by the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Justice, is forcing local school boards all around the country to include this language in their policies under threat of pulling our federal education monies. So basically, if we don't do this, it's being claimed they're going to beat us up for our kids' lunch money and Title I money for the lowest performing, most at-risk, poorest kids over federal education funds. It is simply beyond belief.
Well, I can understand why you're upset, but I mean, it seems to me if this is happening to you, this will be happening in school systems all over the country.
Hey, Larry and Brian, there are 14,000 school districts across the United States of America and 90,000 school board members. So first of all, I got to ask, why is Fairfax County at the forefront of having to capitulate to either a rogue ruling by Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring that flies in the face of many previous rulings for the Commonwealth so that this becomes a state issue? Or why is the federal government taking aim at Fairfax County School Board, and why are we allowing that to happen where the transgender or gender identity agenda subverts the will of the voice of the people that's not even been heard, and for regulations that haven't even been written and won't be
That's pretty amazing.
September.
All right, so just play out for us, in case people haven't thought about this deeply, what the great fears are here.
Well, the fears that I'm hearing from parents are, what does this mean on the ground? What does this mean in terms of parents' rights for their children about what happens with employees in the classroom, with their children, what happens with students and student bathrooms? There are whole states where a transgender or gender identity situation has led to the erosion of athletics all the way through the high school level, where that becomes, a question of who's picking what team they're going to be on, which involves locker rooms. It's a mess, and I think that this board has got to do its due diligence and be good stewards of the school system for 1.2 million residents in Fairfax County before we pass the policy. Because if we pass a policy tonight and we not only don't know what's in it hasn't even been written yet. boy, is that what I call malfeasance.
Our guest is Elizabeth Schultz. She is a Fairfax County School Board member, and we're into accountability here, especially with our local government. We got to name names here. I mean, you have raised this. You have said in your meetings in an open forum, hey, you want us to vote on this thing, and we don't even know what it is we're voting on. We won't know until September. Who hears that from you and says, yeah, we don't care, Elizabeth, we're going to go ahead? Is it the school superintendent or other members of the school board? Who are these people?
Well, as far as I can tell, this is not something that is driven by the superintendent. While we've been given the guidance that this is what the federal government's doing around the country and compelling school districts under the threat of losing U.S. federal education monies, really, the only way that I know that this has come to us is through other board members. And that's not fair to put parents and voters and stakeholders throughout Fairfax County in a position to evaluate something like this without even understanding what's in it and without having any public engagement of any kind to say we're going to pass a policy and, oh, by the way, we're going to figure out sometime after the next school year starts what it even means.
And by the way, I mean, I'm all for discussing this issue and having a reasonable conversation about it, but the way this is being forced through and not done in an open setting with all of the facts, it actually is going to reflect badly on those transgendered individuals who are looking for this kind of protection, because it makes it look like they're trying to force something through without actually having a legitimate discussion about it.
Listen, this has nothing to do with respect or compassion or dignity for all students and all employees and all parents and everyone's rights. I want to be compassionate. I want to listen to the arguments. I want to listen to what we're doing well, which, by the way, we're not having any complaints.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is that Fairfax County staff are doing this extraordinarily well and with dignity for all students. And I have a heart and compassion for what anybody's going through. But the fact that we are passing a policy before the regulations behind it are even written goes to the transparency and accountability issue that you have got to have trust in, if nothing else, a local school board that they're going to provide a safe, distraction-free, education-centered environment for children to operate in and succeed, and for teachers to be able to do their jobs. Do you really want to make this about teachers having to ferry who's going to which bathroom at what point during whatever identity issue is going on and how all the other children feel? That is not our business to foist on the poor teachers in the classrooms and the educators in our buildings.
All right, you got 20 seconds. If people are hearing what you're saying and they're outraged and they want to do something about it, what would you recommend?
First of all, they need to write to the Fairfax County School Board at Fairfax County School Board at fcps.edu today. And second, they need to show up for the 7 o'clock meeting at 3020 Gallows Road for Luther Jackson Middle School for the school board meeting tonight. Because I'll tell you what, if you don't speak now, then let your school system do what it will. Because if they don't listen to the will of the people tonight, I don't know that they ever will again.
Well said, Elizabeth Schultz, Fairfax County School Board member, letting us know exactly what's happening right here in our backyard. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Larry and Brian. Have a great day.
Thank you.